taking a physical and emotional toll. It can also take a real financial toll, especially if you're paying for home safety upgrades, covering medical expenses, cutting back on hours at your job, or having to leave your job altogether. In some states and in certain situations, you may be eligible to get paid for the care you provide. But finding reliable information about caregiver compensation can be overwhelming and very time-consuming. The AARP Foundation Paid for Care Hub can help. It's a free online tool developed with support from United Healthcare, where you can search compensation programs, explore your options, and get answers to frequently asked questions. Find out today if it's possible to be compensated for the time, effort, and care you're providing. Visit paidforcare.aarpfoundation.org to learn more.
Join the movement. Listen to the Tori Lowe Show on 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, the locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is your 1017 The Truth News Update.
Hello, everyone. This is Rhea Riley with your news update. Convincing parents to make sure their kids make it to school on time. Milwaukee Public Schools Superintendent Dr. Brenda Casilia says this.
We provide the kind of supports that families depend on. You know, we feed our children, we provide loving and care for our children, and we provide them a good education. And so if you're not there, you can't get those things. And we want to make sure that our kiddos have a well-rounded education, and they also have great opportunities to be supported and their family to be supported in school too.
Dr. Casilia says last year 50% of MPS students were absent from classes. She says going door to door and talking with parents at their homes may help with student retention. The trial for an Illinois man accused of killing a UW Whitewater gymnast has been delayed until next summer. 23-year-old Chad Richards will now go on trial in June 2026. Richards is charged with first-degree intentional homicide in the shooting death of Kara Welsh. Prosecutors say Richards shot Welsh 8 times during an argument last August. The two were in a relationship at the time. Richards claims he fired in self-defense. A Walworth County Court Commissioner says he was forced out of his position after he asked to see an immigration arrest warrant from a sheriff's deputy trying to take a man into custody. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reports Peter Navis claims he resigned after he was told he could voluntarily leave or be fired over the July 15th incident in his courtroom. The county is accepting applications for a new court commissioner and hopes to have a new person hired in early fall. This has been your news update. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on the new 1017 The Truth.
Bringing you his authentic perspectives on important topics.
They live in suburbs together. They live in the city together. They hang out together, all in the same family. We're the only idiots that fight because we want our voice to only be on one side. Like, does that even make any sense? And when the side loses, you lose everything. They, on the other hand, have a voice no matter what because somebody that looks like them is always in control.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point.
Well, it's just a skewed system.
Of course it is.
It's a lot of judgment.
But answer my question, though. Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people up, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, they can live upstairs from you. Let them come in your house.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point. This is the best radio show in the state of Wisconsin. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
Now, he's the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. He's a young man. Give him a chance. I only complain about things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis. And all I'm asking the mayor and the Common Council president and the Common Council, show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. So first time it runs long. This time it just cuts off. I figure in another 10 years we'll get that right. We'll get that right. What's going on, X?
Not much. Another day, another dollar.
Wow, that was so energetic. Didn't he sound energetic? Hang on. All right, I'm excited. Reason I'm excited is I've been kicking around, and I'm going to let you tell me, do we want to do Black History Thursday? Hey, what's up, SE? You want to do Black History Thursday or Black Book Thursday? I'm thinking, this is just me, I'm thinking Black Book Thursday. That way we can do, I'm going to go do what other people have been asking me to do, because last time I said I was just going to do nonfiction, y'all lost y'all mind. But there's some good fiction books. Well, we're not going to be doing the teasy, sexy, all that other kind of love and all that. We ain't doing all that. But I guess we can read some fiction books, nonfiction books, everything. So, but this week, this Thursday, of course, as I said, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite books, and a book that I got information from regarding Black history and regarding all the things that I know about Black history. It's by one of the renowned award-winning academicians, Henry Louis Gates Jr. And the title of the book, and if you're looking on YouTube, you'll see it right here. It's called Life Upon These Shores, Looking at African American History, 1513 to 2008 by Henry Louis Gates. It wasn't a cheap book by any stretch. But was it worth it? Yes, every penny. It covers from the time right before we know of our settlement here in America up through to and including the election of Barack Hussein Obama as president of the United States. And so today we're going to be diving in and looking at it. I will put, and somebody remind me, I will put in the chat and I will put in the talk and text line the name and the author of the book so you can order it for yourselves and have a definitive. When I say definitive, I mean a definitive authority on Black history. How we came to be, where we were. Does it answer a lot of questions? Yes. Does it pose a lot of queries as it relates to how we got here and where we went after we got here? Yes. Are they answerable? No. And I think one of the drawbacks to Black Americans is that we tend to spend an inordinate amount of time filling in gaps so they sound good, when in fact it's inaccurate. Our Black organizations are notorious for not keeping good notes, good, accurate notes. I mean, we keep them, but they're what I call lazy notes. So when you write a person's name, you write their full name with a middle initial and a suffix if they have it, prefix if you need it, so that 200 years from now when they're reading and there are multiple people in the same organization with the same name, you know who you're talking about. That type of thing. Hey, what's up, Sincere, Ronnie Ray Real? What's up, Mao? Hey, by the way, you can stream, just like we're talking now. You can stream and watch us live on YouTube and on 1017thetruth.com. Make sure you subscribe and hit notification bell so you never miss a live minute of the show. But if you really want to follow us, just download the Truth app and you can listen to all 24 hours of us every single day. All right? Okay. So, what's this book? What's this book about? what are we talking about today? If you look at the book, I'm going to do a quick breakdown of each of the chapters as we go through. I'm going to give you a brief synopsis of what the book is about. Maybe that'll wet your whistle and get you to buy it. So the book is divided into 7 parts. You know, biblically, that's perfection. I know some of y'all rolling your eyes. Parts 1 and 2 talk about the origins, slavery, and the fight for freedom. What does that even mean? Well, how did Africans get here? We're talking as early as 1513, arriving in Florida with the Spaniards. Those are some of the earliest encounters we had with Europeans and Africans, Native Americans. But then the rise of slavery. How did we develop the transatlantic slave trade? How did we come through the Middle Passage? Who created plantation slavery? Legal conditions that codified it, made us less than human, and made us property. And then we'll talk about the culture, the resistance, the religion. We'll look at black patriots during the American Revolution, free black communities that were North and South. We'll talk about expansion and why cotton was part of the economy. We'll touch on some of the abolitionists like Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth. And then we'll dive into the Civil War and the Emancipation Proclamation. Why was it written? What was it written for? You know, you're taught in school, free the slaves. Well, he freed the slaves to keep the Union together. But then we'll look at Reconstruction, the Freedmen's Bureau. I've talked about that before. The backlash, the rise of the Ku Klux Klan in the early 20th century. Jim Crow. But then we'll talk about culture and self-help. We already talked about W.E.B. Du Bois, the Niagara Movement. Touched on Booker T. Washington. That's my bias. I have a bias against Booker T. Washington. I wasn't trying to settle for nothing. And then we'll talk about the Great Migration. One of the best books I've ever read about the Great Migration. Isabella Wilkerson, The Warmth of Other Suns. A phenomenal book. Listen to it on a drive to Mississippi on audiobook. And I absolutely loved it. It was one of the best things that I've ever heard. We'll talk about wars that hit. We'll talk about World War II. Can you imagine being a black man and somebody telling you in a country that you love and work in that you are not good enough to die for your country? Now, granted, I wouldn't be chasing you trying to fight. Hey, I want to die. No. But what that made you feel like when someone told you, not you can't eat with us, not you got to come in the back door, not your kind aren't welcome, but that the ultimate sacrifice you're not worthy of. And then we'll talk about from 1980 on. We'll talk about conservatism and backlash and Reagan-era politics and how some black people made out, some black people didn't. We'll talk about incarceration. We'll talk about new voices, new visibility, and then black people in politics, where somebody by the name of Jesse Jackson decided to run for president. We'll talk about Colin Powell, Condoleezza Rice, and Barack Obama. Now, some people scream and holler and say they don't really want to talk about Colin Powell because he was a Republican. But therein lies the richness and the issue with the black community. That we want acceptance from others, but we won't give it to each other. So today we'll talk about that. We'll have the top 5 at 5. But one of the most important things you should understand is that no matter what, we're here. And Unfortunately, if we keep going the way that we're going, we won't be here for long. When you put the data up side by side and see 12 million some odd slaves, and our population is only 13, 14 million right now, that's a problem. When you look at the white community that's gone from how many million to roughly 63, 64% of the population, that's an issue. Not that it's so, but because we don't know how it became that way. And so those are some of the historical things we're going to dive into. Debates over integration versus self-determination. And some of the problems we have in the black community is it has to be one or it has to be the other. You have to be this, you have to be that. What defines you when you're black? But we're not going to be talking about Africa. We're not going to be talking about Central America. We're not going to be talking about the Caribbean. We're not going to be talking about Europe. We're going to be talking about life upon these shores.
And that is Dr. Ken's Truth on the new 1017 The Truth.
This is 1017 The Truth's Kyle Wallace, and I am Milwaukee. I take great pride in being a 414 boy and representing the city that I love. The great memories I have of going to Northtown Cinema to see movies with family and friends, to going to Capitol Court to see the Black Santa Claus, this city has helped shape me into the man that I am today, and I pledge to utilize my voice as a way to advocate for you in our community. Join the home of Milwaukee's realest conversations where you can speak your truth. We are the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Milwaukee Black Talk.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Escape the city and relax at Lake Lawn Resort in beautiful Delavan, Wisconsin. Enjoy outdoor activities on Delavan Lake. Tee off at the lakeside Majestic Oaks Golf Course or unwind at the award-winning Calidora Spa. With both indoor and outdoor pools, there's fun for the whole family. Take a cruise on the Lake Lawn Queen. Explore stunning shores and historic landmarks. And enjoy delicious food and drinks on board. Book your stay today at lakelawnresort.com, where everything is better at the lake.
Great impressions will exceed your expectations. Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
At Great Impressions Graphics and Printing, they've been proudly serving the community for over 26 years from their location at the corner of 54th and Burleigh in Milwaukee. Their dedication to quality and customer satisfaction has made them a trusted name in printing and design.
Great impressions.
Great Impressions offer a wide range of services, including banners, posters, yard signs, business cards, programs, and postcards. Plus, they specialize in custom apparel printing, perfect for family reunions, sports outings, business promotions, and more. For your next project, visit greatimpress.com. That's greatimpress.com. Great Impressions. They're here when you need them.
Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Hey, y'all, when you want long-lasting comfort and reliability, it's easy to trust Pella. Every piece of furniture, every piece of window, every piece of everything is specifically constructed for you and your home, always designed with innovation, rigorously tested for quality and performance to last for years, and built to create long-term energy savings. And if you order by August 31st, you get 0% interest for up to 5 years. You only got 10 days, y'all. Visit PellaWI.com today. PELLA WI.com. Oh, I'm sorry. I was here dancing. 833-212-1017 is the number. I have been remiss, and I was supposed to do one quick, single, solitary thing because I got to check for myself because, you know, it's Thursday. So we got to do a meetup one day. We got to pick a Thursday during the year. We got to meet up and hang out and run off at the mouth and talk about everything except the truth. You know what that means, right? That's all you'll talk about. Like it's like telling somebody not to do something when you want them to do something because they'll just go do it. By the way, current temperature 75 degrees, sunny. High today was 76. I was up north. It was about 80 degrees outside today. So the low tonight is about 61 degrees. Winds are from the northeast at about 8 miles an hour. Humidity 59%. Barometric pressure is falling. So it should be a nice night. Should be a nice night. Nice, clear, quiet. It's like a 2% chance of rain. You might get a drip, like boop, and then that's it. So yeah, it's not too bad. Traffic's coming up in a few. So I want to dive into the life upon these shores, looking at African American history 1513 to 2008. Here's the book right here. As you can see, it's a pretty beat up book because I absolutely love reading this book. It is, and this is a number of books that Henry Louis Gates has written. It's published by Alfred A. Knopf, Knopf, Alfred Knopf in New York in 2013, by the way. So what's this about? What are some of the early encounters we've had regarding America? So Africans are first recorded coming to America in Florida with the Spanish in 1513. That was the earliest encounter that we know of between Europeans or whites, Africans, and Native Americans. So if you can imagine, 1492, 8 and 13. So that's 21 years since what they call the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. You know, we just make up names of ships so we can make kids learn them, you know. And we name things after people who found people who were already here, which is amazing how you can say that you discovered something. Hey, I discovered America. Well, you really didn't because it was already here. There were already people living here, and there was society. But then we developed, because we came to Florida, 1513, we developed what we know now as the transatlantic slave trade. But figuring out how to make money came that thing called cotton. And cotton was a huge economy. So the growth of plantation slavery in the American colonies grew exponentially. I've got free labor at a point, and then Europeans started saying, why can't we make money off this? And so if you go back and watch movies that talk about slavery, if you go back and watch The Woman King with Viola Davis, it talks about the warring nations, the warring tribes in Africa, and when they would take a group prisoner, they would then sell them to white Europeans, who then took them across the seas and sold them and made their money. So if you can imagine the amount of money you would make on a slave to then turn around and give somebody your gold so that you could sell bodies, they made significantly more. Where the Bible talks about the things that make you look, the flashy, right? The things that sound good to your ear, people talking to you, saying wonderful things and how great you are. And in the end, you're taken captive, sold for significantly more than the trinket you traded for the human being. But yet that's what happened. That's how you build. Okay. So X is telling me $11,000 to $40,000 per person. Now that's in today's dollars. So you're talking, I don't know, guy my age who can still work, who still has his strength, probably would go for around 15, 20 grand. If I'm a kid or a teen, we're talking 40. But if you're elderly, maybe I need you to work around the house, nurse my kid. And that was another biological thing. Some people seem to think that women can't nurse children if they're not pregnant, which is not true. So they would have them nurse their children after they had them, take care of their children, things of that nature. To the point where they wanted to keep their property, so they codified slavery, made it legal, and if you ran away, you could be taken back. Anywhere in the country. Anywhere. But then how did we get to where we are now with culture and religion and the resistance we have today? When we came together, as with any normal human group, regardless of race, culture is created. Conversations with older slaves, elders, found that this is not normal. Which gave rise to slave rebellion. But then, how did the role of Christianity play? Well, we all know some people believe that some of the tribes of Israel and tie in the fact that they use scripture for the darker races they talked about, the wars. They turned it on us. The narrative is those things were us. We were supposed to be oppressed. We were supposed to be slaves. I always found it ironic, before we go to break, the same religion that oppressed us is the religion that liberated us. Now, some people will disagree with that. But historically, it's proven so. Some of our most prolific leaders, both today, yesterday, and a century ago, were black preachers. When we come back, we'll talk about the revolution and the new generation. That time between 1776 and 1865. You have any thoughts? 833-212-1017 is the number. But before we go, Tracy, you're on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. And Tracy's not there. Tracy just hung up. I guess Tracy got scared. Maybe I'm talking too deep. 833-212-1017 is the number. I'm just checking the talk and text line. What happened to grace period? Come on. So in the talk and text, before we go to break, I told them class has begun. Everybody except SC was late, so you get 10 demerits. Miles says, what happened to grace period? What grace period? There's no such thing as a grace period. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. We'll be right back. And now with 101.7 The Truth Traffic, here is Debbie Lazaga.
Well, more problems continue westbound 94 at Highway F in Waukesha County. We got all lanes of traffic blocked right now because of a vehicle fire. So now we've got delays stretching all the way back to Sunny Slope Road. It is a slow ride all the way out there, so just be careful. On the eastbound side, slowing down from before Highway 16 past Highway F. You're back on the brakes through the zoo, and again, 84th Street through the stadium interchange to 35th. Heads up, though, there is also a crash right about at 68th Street off on the right shoulder, so that's going to be adding to your complications. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, mainly clear with a low of 63. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, a high of 80. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 101.7 The Truth.
Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
We Energies want you to keep this important safety message in mind. Before you start digging, planting, or landscaping on your property, call 811 to have underground utilities marked. Calling 811 at least 3 business days before you plan to dig will help you know what's below and can prevent a hazardous situation. Our representatives will mark the underground utilities on your property for free. So remember, stay safe and call before you dig.
We Energies. People you can trust. Energy you can depend on.
Marquette University High School football lives here. Catch all the action of Hilltoppers football on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. Tune in this Friday night as the Hilltoppers kick off their 2025 season hosting the Arrowhead Warhawks. Join our coverage starting at 6:30 p.m., leading up to kickoff at 7 p.m. Marquette University High School football is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. And sponsored by Left's Lucky Town, CJ Schmidt, Capital Insurance Agency, Boyle Fredrickson, Annex Wealth Management, Magic Productions, and Berghardt Sporting Goods. This is your Versity Blood Center of Wisconsin Community Impact Moment on 101.7 The Truth.
I want you to really stress the importance of having an ethnically diverse blood supply. But I guess, what do you say to people that, for whatever reason, are apprehensive about giving blood?
It's not by accident that we are building this fixed donation site right in the heart of this Halyard Park, Harambe neighborhood. And to your point, our black and brown donors probably represents the smallest demographic in our donor base. That's attributed to multiple reasons. For those of us that understand the history, there is a lot of underlying mistrust of the healthcare system. And quite frankly, there's already challenges with how busy people are, how accessible they are to even know where to go to donate blood. And let's face it, a lot of folks are scared of needles, right? But when they get through all of that, the importance, I think, is a heavier burden on our black and brown communities, because there are a lot of different blood diseases that require what I'll call more of a match in blood that only comes from people of similar ethnicities. Something that's specific to our black donors and patients is something that I think your listeners are very familiar with: sickle cell disease. The only therapy that get them through their day-to-day life is blood transfusions. And it's not just what I'll call average or normal blood type or blood transfusion. It's actually a specific blood with a specific type called RO blood. And this RO blood typically only comes from people of African descent and Hispanic descent. And so that's why it's so important that our donor base is diverse, so that it helps our ethnically diverse patient population.
To make an impact by donating blood in your community, visit versity.org today.
Sports Update on 101.7 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Brandon Snide. Milwaukee Brewers dropped their third straight game on Wednesday evening to the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field. This one by a final score of 4-3. General Manager Matt Arnold joining WTMJ this morning, discussing how this team is starting to fight through adversity.
We just have to keep that mentality, stay strong. You know, we're going to go through adversity. Nobody thought we were going to go undefeated, even though I know we won 14 games in a row. But we know that this team is very talented, and Murph just reinforced that point.
Brewers will wrap up the road trip in Chicago this afternoon and return home to open a 3-game series against the Giants on Friday evening. And lastly, we'll head over to the NFL, where the Green Bay Packers welcomed in the Seattle Seahawks for a joint practice. The two teams will face off in the NFL preseason finale on Saturday at Lambeau Field. That kickoff is set for 3 o'clock. This sports update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Book of Revelation, chapter 7, verses 16 and 17. Yes, sir. They shall hunger no more, neither shall they thirst anymore. Preach, preacher. For God shall wipe away, yes, sir, every tear from their eye. Yes, sir. Get ready for the revolution. Come on. What you say? Come on.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. Hey, Truth Nation, please join us for our third annual Truth Family Fest on Saturday, August 23rd from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Riverside University High School. Admission to Truth Family Fest is absolutely, positively, beyond a shadow of a doubt, FREE free. And a great place to celebrate, have fun with your family, with your friends, have some food, good music, an opportunity to win some big prizes like backpacks for kids. KIDS, not ADULTS. You're an adult, you ain't getting one, and you ain't getting one to take home to, hey, I got like 12 kids at home. Can I have a backpack to take to each of my? No, you got to be there. So make sure you save the date this Saturday. That's 2 days, y'all. Third annual Truth Family Fest on Saturday, August 23rd from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Riverside University High School. Truth Family Fest is presented by Crash Course Driver Education Center and U.S. Cellular. It's also sponsored by Milwaukee Area Technical College, Landmark Credit Union, U.S. Bank, Milwaukee Public Schools, Gruber Law Offices, Big Frog, Educators Credit Union, and the Riverside University High School. So come check us out. Come hang out. I'll be there for a minute. I'll hang out for a couple hours, see what's going on. You coming, X? X like, absolutely not. I'm not coming to hang out with you. I see you every single day, 4 to 6, on 1017 The Truth. The Truth app and 1017thetruth.com. You asking the wrong person. You asking the wrong person. Dimitri. I was just reading what Dimitri said. Life upon these shores, looking at African American history, 1513 to 2008. I will put it in the chat, and I'll set up the talk and text line so that you can just text me a word and you'll be able to get the title and stuff of the book back. Cool? When we go on break? Next break. Remind me, X. So if I forget, it's X's fault. I got to find somebody else to blame because me do something wrong and take blame? Oh, I don't think so. So before the break, we were talking about the early encounters, 1513 to about 1776, right? When somebody decided they discovered America and they wanted to start, we want to start an entire country here. Okay. And so now we're here. Did you you know there were black patriots fighting for the American Revolution? The participation of enslaved and free Africans in the Revolutionary War, there were debates over liberty and slavery. I mean, but can you imagine black people who have been through enough traumatic events that by the time we got to the American Revolution, they was like, I'm ready to go. But when you have slaves already and you make them fight against the British, that's a little different too. But then some were free and they fought. Now, the problem is, could you really tell who's free and who's not if you're fighting on the same side? Because I'm sure in some instances they made sure a lot of them were put back in slavery even though they may not have been slaves. Sounds familiar? We talk really great when we're trying to fight for something, and then when we get it, you're tossed aside. Both political parties have done it. Most of America has done it to black people. But there were free black communities. There were free black populations in the North. We started schools like Wilberforce, started by the African Methodist Episcopal Church. We've got churches, mutual aid societies, Prince Hall Masons, and early abolitionist movements. We were fighting against slavery since the beginning of the country. But yet, it seems to have still not taken hold. There seems to be some ongoing, never-ending argument to why blacks are free. And if it were so, I'm a firm believer that we would be back in chains if certain groups had their way. But I think today, with the advent of AI and so many other things, you really don't have to put us in slavery because our minds are enslaved, seemingly, to the internet. And see, when you say that, people think, oh, you don't like the internet? I never said that. But if you spend your entire day, think about the habits that you have and the things that you do that involve the internet. Look at your phone sometimes and track usage, and you'll see. It'll shock you. And so we had resistance from Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, slave uprisings, fights, underground networks that brought us seemingly to the free North. And then in 1865 came the Civil War. We fought with the Union soldiers, that's the North. The Confederacy was the South. We talked about it yesterday with the flag. I also told you of my fear of getting rid of things that remind us, everyone in America, the things that were done to us. Because in the end, if you forget it, I'll just replace that symbol with something different and you'll never know. And it'll be docile and it'll be plain. It's like the white sovereign group that gets certain license plates or stickers on their car that remind you of Heil Hitler, HH, because his two letters, H and H, are the eighth letter of the alphabet. Subtlety. We got the Emancipation Proclamation in 1865. Lincoln was killed in 1863. Or was it the other way around? Anyway, black soldiers were in the Union Army, and we were able to get it. When we come back, I'm going to touch on Reconstruction, but I want you to see some of the promises that were made and some of the promises that weren't kept. It looked like we were going to make it, though. We had land, We had jobs. We had businesses. We had families. But somewhere, it disconnected. We had constitutional amendments. We had schools. We had everything. Land grant institutions popped up. But yet, we still couldn't make it. Why is that? And why do we struggle today?
Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Hi, my name is Noor, and I am proud to be a Riverside University High School Tiger. As a rising sophomore, I am excited to get involved in many opportunities. RUHS offers like advanced placement classes, sports, and student council. But what I love about Riverside most is that Riverside University High School makes everyone feel welcome and provides students with lots of opportunities. On Saturday, August 23rd, from 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock, join us at Riverside for the Truth Family Fest. We will have entertainment, food trucks, and vendors. See you there.
Talk to these people in terms of how do I register for this program despite my reservations and my previous experiences of rejection?
Yes, I tell anybody and everybody that you can buy a house. It may take somebody longer than the other person depending on what your circumstances is with your credit and income and affordability, but you can purchase a house. The first step would be is to register for our program. You can come to our office, 7830 West Burleigh Street, or you can give us a call at 414-461-6330, or just go onto our website, hri-wi.org. Register for the First Time Home Buyer Education Workshop. That's going to be your first step to home ownership. During that class, you're going to learn everything that you need to know from A to Z, how to get approved for a house, how to look for a house and put an accepted offer, and how to close on a home.
Truth Nation, if you got kids or grandkids, you got to check out Just Between Friends sale happening at Wisconsin State Fair Expo Center from September 18th to the 21st. You can sell your gently used baby gear, clothes, toys, and books, or shop and save big. We're talking 50 to 90% off. September 18th is pre-sale day where you can get first pick with a paid ticket. Free for first-time parents or grandparents, teachers, military members, first responders, or daycare directors. The sales open to everyone on the 19th and 20th with half-price deals on the evening of the 20th and all day on the 21st. Thousands of great items all in one place, from strollers to clothes to toys. Head over to Milwaukee County JBFsale.com. That's Milwaukee County JBFsale.com for more information.
Hey, Drew and Jonathan Scott here. Build a customized renter's policy with American Family Insurance so you can protect your tandem bike on the go. Thief! Oh, he is struggling with that two-seater. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Some exclusions may apply. Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI and its operating companies. 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
We are the American Cancer Society, making strides against breast cancer. We are nearly 1 million strong and growing stronger every day. Join us on Saturday, October 11th at 8 a.m. at Summerfest Southgate as we come together for the Making Strides of Milwaukee Walk. Whether you walk for a survivor, in memory of a loved one, or to support the American Cancer Society, you bring us closer to a future free from breast cancer. Are you ready to join the #1 breast cancer movement in the country right here in Milwaukee? Sign up for free today at makingstrideswalk.milwaukeewi.org.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Somebody said, "What, you trying to have church?" And I'm like, no. Do you know where this song is from? This is the song that was sung during George Floyd's funeral that played around the world. Just to remind you of some of the issues we're still going through. And so before the break, we were talking about the Reconstruction. We were talking about higher education. Let me read to you from page 157 of the book. It says, Emancipation, Civil War, 13th Amendment liberated nearly 4 million slaves from bondage, but the formerly enslaved population was jobless and displaced, faced an uncertain future. They established the Freedmen's Bureau. March of 1865, the federal government attempted to provide for the immediate needs of freed slaves, but basic relief supplies were not enough to alleviate the effects of hundreds of years of slavery and oppression. It's like giving a book to somebody who doesn't know how to read. Giving a food utensil to somebody that's always eating with their hands. Makes no sense. Education was critical to freedom, and for many would be the bedrock of Reconstruction policy. And so what happens is you had schools like Fisk, Hampton Institute, now Hampton University, Howard, Morehouse, created specifically to educate us. And so you see 1865, Fisk University, Morehouse and Howard, 1867, Hampton, 1868. Cheney University, the oldest historically black college or university, 1837. Lincoln University, 1854. Wilberforce, 1856. So we talk about the historically black, but many times we don't really understand the depth to which the history goes. That somebody had the foresight to understand how important education was. So when your kids step up and they want to ask you, well, college isn't for everybody. Yes, it is. Just depends on which part you go to. 2-year, 4-year, trades. It's for everybody. We moved from 0 to 180 before slavery was over. These schools were started, run, and are here today. So if you could think why you're complaining about you don't want to go to an HBCU because they don't have air conditioning in some of the rooms, that when it was built, air conditioning wasn't even invented. But yet, they went through. So next time you want to cry, you want to complain, don't. But then there was resistance. The Great Migration was resistance. So people think, because of the history books, we moved because we wanted better and there was no slavery up. No, well, think about it. I'm going to take away your major source of money. We've already got the Emancipation Proclamation. We already got the Freedmen's Bureau. We already got schools opened up. What's the one thing you can do to decimate an economy? Look at what's happening today. How many businesses go out of business because right here in Milwaukee, we can't find people to go to work? Because right here in Milwaukee, we can't find younger people who want to do the type of work that they need to do to make the type of money they want to make, so they become complacent and decide that where they are in life is where they belong. So we moved north and west. It's not by accident we've got
a significant number of wealthy black families that went north to the Northeast, to Chicago, New York, LA, San Francisco. You don't find many of us in the Plain States, and you don't find many of us in the Pacific Northwest. But that's for another show. We had the Harlem Renaissance between 1915 and 1945. My grandmother and my mother and my father were part of the Great Migration from Alabama to Chicago. You had an explosion of black art, music, language. Notice the wins we have are in those spaces where the rules are plain, equitable, and fair. If you just give me the rules, play by the rules and be fair, we can win. But then came intellectual thought. Langston Hughes, Zora Neale Hurston, who wrote profound books, and we'll look at some of those in the coming weeks. But then there's World War II and the March on Washington. And so these are some of the things that we'll talk about after the top 5 at 5 that brought about the civil rights that we know of and the black power that you may have heard of. Because today, people talk about black power, but I don't think anybody under 50 really understands what black power means and how it can exert itself to move mountains. Because we only read what they want us to read. You can only go so far if you run an African American studies program and the type of books you have people read. You can only go so far because anybody can take that class. But if you want to know the truth, I suggest you grab this book. It talks about black power from a nationalism point of view, that it wasn't about integration. It really was about self-determination. And that if you want us, we're fine. But if you don't want us, we're fine. That if you accept us, we're great with it. And if you don't accept us, we're great with it. But then we'll also dive into the, what I like to call everyday life and integration and how it's shaped the public perception of us in the 21st century. You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. When we come back, top 5 at 5 and more from Henry Louis Gates Jr. Life upon these shores.
Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Truth Nation, please join us at our 3rd annual Truth Family Fest on Saturday, August 23rd from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Riverside University High School. Admission to Truth Family Fest is absolutely free and a great place to have fun and celebrate with family and friends while also enjoying some great music and amazing food. Also, everyone in attendance will have a chance to win some great prizes, including backpacks for the kids, so make sure to save the date for our 3rd annual Truth Family Fest on Saturday, August 23rd from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Riverside University High School. Truth Family Fest is presented by Crash Course Driver Education Center and U.S. Cellular. Also sponsored by Landmark Credit Union, Milwaukee Public Schools, U.S. Bank, Gruber Law Offices, Big Frog, Milwaukee Area Technical College, Educators Credit Union, and Riverside University High School. Truth Family Fest on Saturday, August 23rd from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Riverside University High School.
Tired of hearing no from other banks? No to a loan? No to a checking account? Just no? At Brewery Credit Union, we find ways to say yes. Yes to second chances. Yes to rebuilding credit. Yes to helping you save, borrow, and thrive. Work with our credit specialists and move your financial life forward. Brewery Credit Union, Milwaukee's best place to borrow and save. Visit brewerycu.com. That is brewerycu.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
Marquette University High School football lives here. Catch all the action of Hilltoppers football on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. Tune in this Friday night as the Hilltoppers kick off their 2025 season hosting the Arrowhead Warhawks. Join our coverage starting at 6:30 p.m., leading up to kickoff at 7 p.m. Marquette University High School football is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. And sponsored by Left's Lucky Town, C.J. Schmidt, Capital Insurance Agency, Boyle Fredrickson, Annex Wealth Management, Magic Productions, and Berghardt Sporting Goods.
Metastatic breast cancer, or stage 4 breast cancer, happens when cancer spreads beyond the breast to other parts of the body. About 168,000 women are living with it today, with Black women at a higher risk due to various factors. Research has led to treatments that help manage the disease and improve quality of life. The Everyday Counts study explores how nutrition and exercise coaching can support women with metastatic breast cancer. To learn more about the Everyday Counts study in Milwaukee, call 414-955-8819 or email edc@mcw.edu. If you or someone you know has stage 4 breast cancer, please encourage them to call and enroll in this valuable study. Again, call 414-955-8819 or email edc@mcw.edu.
Listen to the man who tells you exactly how he sees it. The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris every weekday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 101.7 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is your 101.7 The Truth News Update.
Hello, everyone. This is Rhea Riley with your news update. Convincing parents to make sure their kids make it to school on time. Milwaukee Public Schools Superintendent Dr. Brenda Casilia says this.
We provide the kind of supports that families depend on. You know, we feed our children, we provide loving and care for our children, and we provide them a good education. And so if you're not there, you can't get those things. And we want to make sure that our kiddos have a well-rounded education, and they also have great opportunities to be supported and their family to be supported in school too.
Dr. Casilia says last year, 50% of MPS students were absent from classes. She says going door to door and talking with parents at their homes may help with student retention. The trial for an Illinois man accused of killing a UW Whitewater gymnast has been delayed until next summer. 23-year-old Chad Richards will now go on trial in June 2026. Richards is charged with first-degree intentional homicide in the shooting death of Kara Welsh. Prosecutors say Richards shot Welsh 8 times during an argument last August. The two were in a relationship at the time. Richards claims he fired in self-defense. A Walworth County Court Commissioner says he was forced out of his position after he asked to see an immigration arrest warrant from a sheriff's deputy trying to take a man into custody. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reports Peter Navis claims he resigned after he was told he could voluntarily leave or be fired over the July 15th incident in his courtroom. The county is accepting applications for a new court commissioner and hopes to have a new person hired in early fall. This has been your news update. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris continues on the new 101.7 The Truth.
Bringing you his authentic perspectives on important topics.
They live in suburbs together. They live in the city together. They hang out together, all in the same family. We're the only idiots that fight because we want our voice to only be on one side. Like, does that even make any sense? And when the side loses, you lose everything. They, on the other hand, have a voice no matter what because somebody that looks like them is always in control.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point.
Well, it's just a skewed system.
Of course it is.
It's a lot of judgment.
But answer my question, though. Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people up, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, they can live upstairs from you. Let them come in your house.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point. This is the best radio show in the state of Wisconsin. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 101.7 The Truth and The Truth app.
Now, he's the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. He's a young man. Give him a chance. I only complain about things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis. And all I'm asking the mayor and the Common Council president and the Common Council, Show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. Let me check the talking text line because y'all was hollering at me and screaming. Okay, so. All right. Dimitri, this is for you. Life Upon These Shores, looking at African-American history, 1513 to 2008. I will be sure at the next break. You know I need to do this live on the radio, otherwise it won't get done. So let me do this. No, I haven't heard from Kawanda. Got to check on her. Fawn said blacks might probably had it better earlier if we migrated to the Pacific Northwest. My parents left Jim Crow, Mississippi in the early 60s. My mother was born in the mid-1930s in Hurtsboro, Alabama. My father was born in the early 1930s in Hurtsboro, Alabama. Migrated to Chicago and lived next door to each other before they got married. So that's one of those little small tidbits that why families stay together, marry into each other, all that other stuff. So interesting. I find that interesting. Let's see. Yes, Life Upon These Shores. Got it. Demetrius said the Great Depression, the economic meltdown of 2008. Here's what I want to do. I want a book that's apolitical. I don't want to hear it was Obama's fault, it was Bush's fault, it was so-and-so's fault, it was so-and-so. Something that is giving you information that you didn't know before. Not espousing the beliefs you already have. I don't really care about that. I don't care for helping you. Oh, see, I told you I was right because this book said it. Well, did the book say it? Or you just only reading, just like you watch and do social media about the things that only matter to you. So if you only watch and read things that resonate with you, then that's all you get. It just reinforces what you already believe. That's called confirmation bias. I was about to bring up something very controversial, but I'm not. I'm going to be nice this time. Let's see. All right. 833-212-1017 is. Are we ready? We good? Guess I'll find out.
Number 5.
From WISN.com. So there's a criminal complaint that revealed break-ins that happened in July and August, many on consecutive nights. Well, Milwaukee man is facing 8 felony burglary charges, accused of break-ins at multiple Milwaukee restaurants. Adrian Garcia, 38, is accused of breaking into the restaurants after closing time, usually by breaking a window or door, the complaint says. So, according to the complaint, here they are. July 16th, McDonald's, 24th in Wisconsin. July 21st, McDonald's, 24th in Wisconsin. July 22nd, McDonald's, 22nd in Wisconsin. July 23rd, Taco Bell, 22nd in Wisconsin. I'm sorry, that was 24th, 22nd. Couple blocks. July 25th, McDonald's. Guess where it was? 24th in Wisconsin. 26th, May Velma's Corned Beef Restaurant, 27th in Michigan. 27th of July, Kilbourne Kitchen, 27th in Kilbourne. And August 15th, Fruition Cafe, 27th and Wells. What does that tell you? That tells you somebody walked from their house because they was a lazy criminal. Broke in and came back. According to the criminal complaint, an officer used surveillance video to identify Garcia as the burglar by using his appearance and distinctive clothing. Garcia appeared in court today where the judge set bond at $7,500. So, yeah. He made a career out of burglary, and now he'll make a career out of jail. He'll probably plead to, like one of those and say, okay, I did it. And probably get about 5 years, and then be out in 3 with probation. Why? Because we don't punish people anymore. We keep crying about mass incarceration. Ask that to the businesses that lost the money.
Number 4.
This from CNN.com. A New York appeals court has now voided the roughly $500 million civil fraud penalty against Donald Trump. A New York appeals court threw out roughly the $500 million judgment against President Donald Trump in the civil trial case brought by the state's attorney general. Today's decision, which wasn't unanimous, leaves Trump still liable for fraud, and the judges upheld his liability and tossed the penalty so the case could move forward for further appellate review. New York Attorney General Letitia James plans to appeal the ruling. In a prevailing opinion, the judges wrote, while the injunctive relief ordered by the court is well crafted to curb defendants' business culture, the court's disgorgement order, which directs that defendant to pay nearly $500 million to the state of New York, is an excessive fine that violates the 8th Amendment of the Constitution of the United States of America. And so one of the things we have to understand is being found guilty of something civil is not like being found guilty of something criminal. Had Letitia James brought criminal charges, there's no way he would have been found guilty. Why is that? Because you have to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, and 12 people have to say yes. In this one, it's kind of a majority. If your 50.1% looks like you did it and everybody thinks you did it, you did it. And you really don't have to have any good proof. You just have to make it look like it. And that's why you have to be careful when you talk about civil forfeiture. Now, the flip side to that, you could be found guilty and you're guilty. The issue is $500 million is excessive. We haven't gone after corporations that were worth trillions of dollars for that amount of money because it was done because they were vindictive. And that's when I talk about how your politics can mess up some of the good things you do because you are partisan and biased. And our Republican friends do the same thing. Now we're going after people and shutting down museums and doing all sorts of things that really make no sense. Really make no sense whatsoever. But yet, here we are.
Number 3.
I don't know if you know of this woman, because some of you aren't old enough, but here's a tidbit of history. Vivian Elizabeth Ayers Allen, Pulitzer Prize nominated poet, cultural activist, and mother of Debbie Allen and Felicia Rashad, has died at the age of 102. Last night, Debbie shared the news on Instagram in a post that featured a photo montage of her mother through the years, set to Stevie Wonder's Golden Lady, and with the text, "Into the eternal light, Vivian Ayers." Vivian Ayers Allen was born July 29th, 1923, in Chester, South Carolina, known for her fierce dedication and artistic passion that shaped both her career and her family. After marrying Andrew Arthur Allen Sr., she welcomed 4 children: musician Andrew Tex Allen Jr., actress choreographer Debbie Allen, bank executive Hugh Allen, and actress Felicia Rashad, each of whom have achieved great success in their respective fields. Following their 1954 divorce, Ayers Allen continued to build a remarkable legacy as a Pulitzer Prize-nominated poet, playwright, literary agent, that's what I know her as, activist, and cultural curator. If you want to read some of her poems, She wrote the poetry collection Spice of Dawns. Earned her a Pulitzer Prize nomination. So she also wrote Hawk, an allegorical poem set in outer space, and in 1966 became the first black faculty member at Rice University in Houston. So this woman opened up doors and set paths that her children simply walked through. So we'll miss you. Those of you who don't know her, hey, it's Black History Today. Make sure you check her out. Vivian Ayers Allen, a wonderful poet and a wonderful woman. My happiness came today. Came across an article about cell phones in school.
Number 2.
From thegrio.com, 17 states have now restricted cell phone use as the school year begins. For students in 35 states, cell phone restrictions add new school day rituals, like putting phones in magnetic pouches or special lockers. You know what I would buy everybody? I would buy you a Faraday bag. You know what a Faraday bag is? A Faraday bag is a bag that you can drop anything electronic in, and once you seal it, no signals in, no signals out. You literally drop off the face of the earth. Jamal Bishop is seeing a big change in his classrooms as he begins his senior year at Doss High School in Louisville, where cell phones are now banned during instructional time. In previous years, students weren't paying attention, wasting class time, repeating questions. Now, teachers can provide more one-on-one time for students who actually need it. Kentucky is one of 17 states and the District of Columbia starting this year with new restrictions, bringing the total states to 35, with laws or rules limiting phones and other electronic devices. Florida became the first state to pass such law in 2023. Both Democrats and Republicans have taken up the cause, reflecting a growing consensus that phones are bad for children's mental health and take their focus away from learning, even as some of the researchers say the issue is less clear-cut. Why are we stuck on children's mental health right now? Remind me when we get on the other side of top 5 at 5 before I start back on Henry Louis Gates Jr. Talk about why it's dangerous what we're doing about children's mental health. So just remind me of that. Children's mental health. All right. Because I'm a little stumped by that, but I digress. Approximately 26% of Wisconsin's public schools districts, and so I was wondering, like here in Milwaukee, do we restrict phones at some of the schools? Do we? Well, Wisconsin, as of 2025, Wisconsin Policy Forum analysis of the state's digital learning survey, 26% of Wisconsin's public school districts have now implemented a full ban on cell phones. Let's see, another 43% permit phones in common areas. 20% have a full, complete, total, no phones at school, period. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm trying to think. The youngest, how old was my youngest when she got a cell phone? Maybe 9 or 10. Because we both worked during the day and we weren't necessarily accessible. I'm trying to remember. Because at the time, we couldn't see a reason why she couldn't have a phone other than everybody else had one. In that instance, yeah, we were that kind of parent.
Number 1.
This is a story that excited me because when I read it, I thought, wow, that makes a lot of sense. So those of you that are thinking about going to HBCUs from Wisconsin, from Milwaukee, if you're thinking about it, well, blackenterprise.com has a great story. LinkedIn has rolled out its ranking for the top HBCUs for alumni success. Now, this is not while you're at the school or what your ACT score, your SAT, your MCAT to go to medical school, LS. It ain't about that. It's about where do the most successful black people who went to HBCUs, what school did they go to? I find that very interesting because number 10 on the list is a surprising school. Now, let's do this. Let me just ask, how many HBCUs are there, you hear me typing, in the United States? So there are 107 historically black colleges and universities in the United States, according to the U.S. Department of Education. Out of that, this is less than 10%, only because they got 7, right? So I can say that. Top 10%. Top 10, Morgan State University, number 9. And can you tell me what each of these schools is known for? Morgan State University. Xavier University of Louisiana. 88% of, a few years ago, 88% of black medical doctors and black dentists did their undergrad at Xavier. One of the toughest undergraduate science programs in the country. Clark Atlanta University, Florida A&M. Number 6 is Tuskegee. Number 5, Hampton University. Number 4 is North Carolina A&T State University. Now, the top 3 you should know or should have an idea that LinkedIn found with data evaluating career outcomes of alumni. Who takes the top 3 spots? Number 3, Spelman College. Number 2, Morehouse College, which leaves what? Number 1, Howard University. Howard University has its own medical school, its own school of education, and its own law school. Anything you could ever learn about anything, and they have an outstanding theater and communications program. Anything you could want to learn about anything, you could send them. I would hold Howard University in terms of intellectual, stimulating education equal to an Ivy League. But that's just me. It's just me. Now, before we go to break, children's mental health. So one of the things we have to be careful of is when we start tracking children's mental health for the sake of tracking mental health and ask questions that are leading, we're going to cause some students undue stress for the rest of their lives. For instance, have you been having any bad thoughts? Have you been thinking about harming yourself? Have you been wishing you were never here? Well, number 1, I don't know of a human being in the world that hasn't thought that. If you haven't thought it, you will. Life's going to happen. Situations are going to cause you to think and do things that you wouldn't normally do. You'll come through it. However, asking a child that, and if a child says yes, you then start to put them on a regimen of therapy and pills when they were simply having a thought in the moment, puts that kid on a list that forever they will always be thought of as someone with mental health issues. Now, is that needed in some instances? Absolutely, yes. I'm not saying don't take care of our children's mental health. Just be careful. Be careful not to tag a kid special ed when in fact they only have ADHD. And that building in certain things in their day can cause them to do as great, if not greater, than the best students that you actually have. Don't just run with the group because the group's running. You might want to find out why.
Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This is 1017 The Truth's Kyle Wallace, and the time is now, Milwaukee. Truth to Power is your platform, and on my show, our community always has a voice. There is no topic that is off limits, and I always give you my authentic opinions on how I feel, because keeping it real is the only way I know how to get down. Listen to Truth to Power with me, Kyle Wallace, every day from noon to 1 p.m. on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on YouTube at 1017 The Truth. Milwaukee Black Talk.
Great impressions will exceed your expectations. Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
At Great Impressions Graphics and Printing, they've been proudly serving the community for over 26 years from their location at the corner of 54th and Burleigh in Milwaukee. Their dedication to quality and customer satisfaction has made them a trusted name in printing and design. Great Impressions offer a wide range of services, including banners, posters, yard signs, business cards, programs, and postcards. Plus, they specialize in custom apparel printing, perfect for family reunions, sports outings, business promotions, and more. For your next project, visit greatimpress.com. That's greatimpress.com. Great Impressions. They're here when you need them.
Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Adrian was seriously injured when a careless driver merged into her lane.
Gruber was there for everything that I needed. Any questions that I had, Gruber was there. They made me feel like everything about my situation and my accident was very important to them, and that made me feel good. And I would definitely call Gruber again for that.
Serving Wisconsin for over 35 years, Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
They go above and beyond for their clients.
This summer, make 3rd Street Market Hall your one-stop, must-stop destination to eat, drink, and play. 3rd Street Market Hall has over 15 locally owned food vendors, a self-serve beer wall featuring 30 Wisconsin breweries, over 50 HD TVs, and happy hour specials all week. The perfect place to work remotely or catch a game between meetings or over lunch, 3rd Street Market Hall is your home away from home or office. Visit 3rdstreetmarkethall.com for menus, events, and more information.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. You know, the reason I'm talking so fast is because I found Black Parade, but I couldn't find a clean version of Black Parade because, you know, Beyonce be saying some stuff and her and her husband be doing, he be doing some stuff. So I'm just saying, 833-212-1017 is the number. Let me see. Life Upon These Shores. Yeah, that's the book. As far as McDonald's, he was loving it. Y'all, man. Miles said, I haven't seen, where is Kawanda? Haven't seen her. Tried to ask Sharon if people being blocked for any reason, but he's not giving me the chance to ask. No, nobody's been blocked. No. Sincere Runner Real, that may be from the Truth team because I was blocked. It's on our channel. I don't know. Somebody said, that's not right, blocking people. Well, first of all, we don't know whether or not somebody got blocked, number one. Number two, I didn't log in, so I don't know who. Well, the Truth owns the moderation, so we'll check it out. We'll have somebody check and see on the Truth. We'll have somebody at a half. We'll have somebody check on the Truth and see. We'll look into it. Thank you for that. We appreciate it. Yeah. So we'll do that. I will definitely look into it. Give me till next week. Don't be wanting. I want automatic right now, this day, because y'all know how y'all get. Y'all get a little beside yourself. So where were we? Before the break, we were talking about the new century. Let me back up one. Civil rights, Black Power. From about 1945 to 1980, there was a fight that went on that was nonstop, never ending, always going to fight against segregation. Now, from a legal standpoint, I don't know if people understood what the fight was about. The fight wasn't necessarily to end segregation. The fight was to end, and this is my rendition, so if you differ, I can respect that, was to fight the ability for someone to stop us from doing something we wanted to do, which is markedly different from segregation. Black people self-segregate. I self-segregate. I'm in organizations, you ready? I'm in organizations that only black people can be in. I'm in organizations that are only open and welcoming to black people. I have no problem with white or Hispanic or Asian or Pacific Islander or straight, gay, whatever. I have no problem with people saying, these are the people that are welcome here. These people are not. It's by invitation. I have no problem with that. Like none. But I don't understand why people get mad when self-segregation is something we seek. I tell the story. It was when I got transferred from District 6 late shift to District 7 late shift and then day shift, and I was working in a neighborhood that was predominantly black. I absolutely loved it. Does that sound weird? But I absolutely loved it. Working around people that looked like me. Some were good, some were elderly, and some were criminals. And they had to lock them up too. Had to help them too because many of them were victims. Montgomery bus boycott, sit-ins, freedom rides, people killed that came from the north to the south. But then we have Black Power. When I was growing up, Malcolm X was always looked at as a negative. Oh, you should follow Martin Luther King. But there's a time and a place and a reason for Malcolm X. Let's remove religion from both of those men. Let's remove it from Minister Malcolm X. Let's remove it from the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. Those men were two sides of the same coin. How they looked at civil rights and Black Power differed, but what they wanted in the end was the same. The question remains, and it's something that will forever haunt me, is we keep talking about integration versus self-determination when we should have both. You can be self-determinate and be integrated and be just fine. Now, many whites will have a problem with it. Many of them won't like it because your culture is different from theirs. Your actions are different from theirs. And when you believe you're in the majority and when you feel like you have that power, you speak up. I don't, but most people will speak up. I've been in groups where people have said things and done things that were markedly, culturally white. The assumptions they make, the questions they ask, that I completely and totally differ with. But were I to say something, I'd be looked at as if something's wrong with me. So in many instances, I choose not to say anything. Can you imagine that? Me not talking? Anyway. But then we became part of everyday life. Athletes, entertainers were able to play in a NBA or an NFL with other white players. The problem with that was the media shaped the perception then. Remember what Joe Biden said about Barack Obama? He was good. He was clean. What does that even mean? Or when the white sergeant told me at District 6, I'll get it, District 6 during late shift. Yeah, but you're different. What does that even mean? Oh, I'm more like you. Got it. Got it. When we come back, I want to look at this century. I want to look at the beginning of the 21st century. I want to look at the politics that created what we now have, what I call racialized debates, where we're so divided by race, by left versus right, conservative versus liberal, Republican versus Democrat, that nobody listens to anybody. We refuse to accept both sides. And that if you actually have 1% of the other side, then you're considered not worthy of being it. You know what I'm talking about. We do it to people when they're black. And now with 101.7 The Truth Traffic, here's Debbie Lazica.
Big delays on southbound 41 coming in from about Good Hope Road all the way down to about Capitol Drive. The northbound side heavy from Watertown Plank Road all the way up past Capitol Drive. Southbound 43, watch for delays from North Avenue down through the Marquette interchange to the KK River crossing. Northbound slowing down from north of Lincoln all the way up and over the high rise all the way to Locust. And then now that fire has been picked up at Highway F on 94 westbound, we do still have delays coming from the county line all the way out to about Highway F. And then on the eastbound side, some pockets of heavy traffic from Highway 16 through the Barker Road area, and then back on the brakes from 92nd Street through to about 35th. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, mainly clear, a low of 63. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, a high of 80. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazica on 101.7 The Truth.
Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
If better sleep has been hard to come by, you're not alone, and the right mattress can make all the difference. That's why Helix Sleep and Steinhafels have teamed up to bring their award-winning mattresses to Steinhafels. Now you can try Helix in person, something you can't do just anywhere. Right now, Steinhafels is offering 20% off all Helix mattress orders just for our listeners. Head to steinhafels.com to learn more. Helix Sleep at Steinhafels. Better sleep starts now.
At Crash Course, we believe cost shouldn't stand in the way of safe driving. If you're 14 to 19 years old, you may qualify for 100% free driver's ed through Wisconsin's Driver Education Grant Program. That includes the full online course and all required behind-the-wheel lessons at no cost to your family. With convenient school-based pickup through Southeast Wisconsin, getting started is simple. Crash Course, the best choice driving school. Visit crashcoursewi.com to pre-register and hit the road with confidence.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. Here is Kyle Wallace with his truth.
Truth Nation, I guess I've officially graduated from big bro to unk status, at least according to my little cousin. That's what he said. Now, at first I pushed back a little bit, and I was offended by the assertion that I was old enough to be unk. But after a little thought, y'all, I actually embraced the label of being unk and the responsibility which comes with being quote-unquote unk. See, as unk, I think it's my duty to look out for and support the youth and young cats coming up after me. Embrace the role as being a mentor and role model and aim to protect our kids at all costs. With the news cycle always seemingly being negative towards the youth, we need to take it back upon ourselves to change the narrative and uplift our youth. Our kids are so much more than fights, stolen cars, Kia boys, or acting a fool in public. We can't allow a small population of children to depict who our kids really are in the city of Milwaukee. You have have to resist the urge to want to bash our kids and be so quick to pass judgment or disparage the youth. And we got to stop acting as if we were not once in their shoes, making poor decisions, having regrets. I know we have all been there. Now, regardless of how funny it may sound to say YN, don't label our kids that. That is far from a term of endearment, and we have to remember you become what people call you. If someone calls you dumb over and over and over again, you may start believing that you are dumb, and you may start having self-doubt in oneself. Don't put that type of self-hating energy on our youth, Milwaukee. We need to call them YKs and YQs for young kings and young queens, even when they might frustrate you. Remember, they are still only kids. With the summer being here, there is no better time to encourage them to aspire to be great. Give them positive reinforcement. Give them positive affirmation until we get it through their minds on who they really are and what they can become. An unstoppable force of greatness.
Listen to Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace weekdays from noon to 1 p.m.
Sports Update on 101.7 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Brandon Snide. Milwaukee Brewers dropped their third straight game on Wednesday evening to the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field. This one by a final score of 4-3. General Manager Matt Arnold joining WTMJ this morning discussing how this team is starting to fight through adversity.
We just have to keep that mentality, stay strong. You know, we're going to go through adversity. Nobody thought we were going to go undefeated, even though I know we won 14 games in a row. But we know that this team is very talented, and Murph just reinforced that point.
Brewers will wrap up the road trip in Chicago this afternoon and return home to open a 3-game series against the Giants on Friday evening. And lastly, we'll head over to the NFL, where the Green Bay Packers welcomed in the Seattle Seahawks for a joint practice. The two teams will face off in the NFL preseason finale on Saturday at Lambeau Field. That kickoff is set for 3 o'clock. This sports update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Well, all right. Star Child, citizens of the universe, recording angels. We have returned to claim the pyramids. Partying on the mothership. I am the mothership connection. Getting down in 3D. Light year grooving. Well, all right. You hear the noise? Ain't nobody but me and the boys. Get down. Hit it, fellas.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. The Truth is the proud home of Marquette University High School football. 2025 football season starts tomorrow with a bang, as we have two big-time matchups with two traditional football powerhouse programs. Tune in tomorrow night, Friday. Marquette High Hilltoppers host the Arrowhead Warhawks. Kickoff is at 7. Football on Friday night on The Truth is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. So make sure you come hang out, listen to them, come back tomorrow, hustle on over to Riverside University High School from 11 to 3. We're just going to have a great full weekend. So make sure you just, come show up and have a good time. Now, before the break, we were talking about this new century, this place where we are now as it relates to black people in America, our voices, our visibility. On a side note, where to go? There's breaking news. Villanova University reports there's an active shooter on campus. They're telling students to lock and barricade doors. That's in, you say Pennsylvania? Okay. Philadelphia? I don't know. So, if you know somebody that goes to Villanova, don't call them because they're busy. Okay? All right. Villanova University, active shooter on campus telling students to shelter in place. So if we get something between now and 6 o'clock, we'll update you on that. But just so you know, school hadn't even started yet, and already. So Reagan-era politics, mass incarceration, debates about welfare and crime. So towards the late 80s, early 90s, we had created this breadth of welfare recipients that showed black people as the face of the poor. Now, we already know that the percentage of black people is higher, but because we're only like 13% of the population, the actual number of black people in poverty is significantly less than whites. But we like to play the game. We like to look at, 15, 20% of 65 of 100 and some odd million versus, I'm just picking a random number, 20% of a smaller number. It sounds bigger, but that's the fear. When you start to use percentages to talk about black people in relation to whites, it's unfair because there are more whites than blacks. So the percentage in the number of whites versus the percentage in the number of blacks in actual individual people, more whites on drugs, more whites in poverty. And I dare say, going out on a limb, more whites committing crimes. And when you talk about unreported crimes, it becomes even higher. So what did we get? You're coming out of the funk era. You're coming out of the Parliament Funkadelic, and you move into the mid-'80s, early 90s. You got the rise of rap. And even then, the studio executives, the music executives took a genre of music and instead of having to deal with it on its own, like spoken word, poetry, rap, neo-soul, let's call this hip-hop. And we allowed it. And so now people have this thing ingrained in them, even though people argue all the time, hip-hop is inclusive of everything. That's the problem. It's like calling the Latina and Latinos Latinx. See, I can get rid of all the multiple ethnicities if I simply put all y'all in one group. Oh, we'll call it Latinx. We don't really care if the culture of the Dominican Republic is different from the culture of Venezuela, which is different from the culture of Brazil, which is different from the culture of Argentina. We don't really, or Nicaragua. We don't care. Let's put them all in one group. And then that way we can what? Dismiss them all in one group. And that's what's happened to black people. The black diaspora is vast. Think of all the different countries in Africa, but yet they always call us African. Why is that? I have family from Benin, family from Nigeria. I know people from a good number of different African countries, but yet we're lumped into one. Why is that? It minimizes you. But you're quick to be Irish American and Italian American and on and on and on and on. But then our influence became global. When you're hearing rap music from America in London on the East Side, when you hear them quoting politicians like a Barack Obama, like a Condoleezza Rice, like a Colin Powell, like a Jesse Jackson, like a Martin Luther King. Now, many people will argue, and I know I'm about to start an argument, and I only got 3 minutes, but the rise of Barack Obama. We know there were certain movements in Chicago that made very specific points of interest to put a black man in the White House. Walked them through state of Illinois, walked him through becoming a U.S. Senator, and before his term was up, he became President of the United States. If you ever want to go back and read about a guy, there's a guy named Saul Alinsky that makes Democratic politicians. And he paved the way. I remember sitting in Chicago and attending community activist meetings and being in the room with the light-skinned skinny guy who was from the University of Chicago as an adjunct professor with the funny name. Doesn't matter why, the outcome matters. So with Jesse Jackson starting his presidential bid, and after centuries of struggle, the symbolic things that were done but never followed through on, we had elected our first African-American president. Today we have a black mayor in Milwaukee, which you should be proud of. We have a black county executive and a black chair of the County Board of Supervisors that we should be proud of. We've never had a black governor. Many people say, why is that important? It's the old adage from 100 Black Men. What they see is what they'll be. If you can see somebody become president, see somebody become mayor, see somebody become an alderman or woman, you can do that too. So suffice it to say, our origins through slavery, our fight for freedom, the Reconstruction, the Jim Crow, the cultural flowering as we grew and enculturated and inculcated American life, American culture, American capitalism through civil rights and black power struggles and politics today, to watch other people take our own culture, use it, and then turn it against us, came to fruition with the election of Barack Hussein Obama as president of the United States. And it's something we should be proud of, something we should always look forward to, something we can remember and tell our children what it was like, this life upon these shores.
Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Your expression on your face, that's got to me. And the man wasn't lying.
What you mean the expression on my face? How can you see my face? You listening to me on the radio, man.
No, I'm watching you on YouTube, too.
Oh, all right, then. You're an old man, and you know about YouTube. How old are you, Adam? You about 85.
83.
I'll be dipped. How blessed are we to have you.
Watch all your favorite 1017 The Truth shows by subscribing to 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
It's 1017 The Truth. Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. It all started with a new invention in 1925, the roll screen. The ability to roll a window screen up and down like a shade. Pella invested in this breakthrough when the business was born in Pella, Iowa, and has introduced the world to innovation, game-changing decisions ever since. They've been at it for a century. When you want long-lasting comfort and reliability, it's easy to trust Pella. Every piece is specifically constructed for you and your home, and always designed with innovation and rigorously tested for quality and performance. The Pella team takes pride in constructing quality windows and doors with meticulous attention to every detail. Investing in new Pella windows and doors creates long-term energy savings and durability that lasts for years. There's no reason to wait, because if you order by August 31st, get 0% interest for up to 60 months. Certain restrictions apply. Yes, that's up to 5 years with no interest payments, so don't miss out. Visit PellaWI.com today.
At Educators Credit Union, our members are our purpose. As a credit union, we're more than a financial. We're people helping people. We aren't concerned about profits or the bottom line of shareholders, because our greatest reward is you achieving your financial dreams through lower rates, free financial resources, and award-winning member service. Experience more heart and less hassle by making the switch today. Achieve more at ECU.com. Educators Credit Union. Achieving more together. Insured by NCUA. Membership eligibility required.
Marquette University High School football lives here. Catch all the action of Hilltoppers football on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Tune in this Friday night as the Hilltoppers kick off their 2025 season hosting the Arrowhead Warhawks. Join our coverage starting at 6:30 p.m., leading up to kickoff at 7 p.m. Marquette University High School football is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. And sponsored by Left's Lucky Town, CJ Schmidt, Capital Insurance Agency, Boyle Fredrickson, Annex Wealth Management, Magic Productions, and Berghardt Sporting Goods.
Gruber Law Office. One call, that's all.
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 Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
One call, that's all.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Yeah, it's one of those days. You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Tory Lowe Show's coming up next. We'll be hanging out here a bit. Hey, I want to remind you, download the Truth app and you can listen to all 24 hours right here, live and rebroadcast. Just go to the App Store, Apple or Google Play Store, and download the app. I can be in your face all day. You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. It's been great. Thank you, X. Appreciate you. He showed up today. Look at him. You know I got a t-shirt with your 2 earrings on. Come on, now. So fun.
I show up every day and provide quality work.
I didn't ask you to talk on my show. Did I ask you to talk on my show? Did I ask you to talk on my... Okay, well, don't tell everybody. Man, always busting me out. No. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. God bless. Take care, y'all. I'm out.
Be quiet.
Truth Nation, please join us at our 3rd annual Truth Family Fest on Saturday, August 23rd from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Riverside University High School. Admission to Truth Family Fest is absolutely free and a great place to have fun and celebrate with family and friends while also enjoying some great music and amazing food. Also, everyone in attendance will have a chance to win some great prizes, including backpacks for the kids, so make sure to save the date for our 3rd annual Truth Family Fest on Saturday, August 23rd from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Riverside University High School. Truth Family Fest is presented by Crash Course Driver Education Center and U.S. Cellular. Also sponsored by Landmark Credit Union, Milwaukee Public Schools, U.S. Bank, Gruber Law Offices, Big Frog, Milwaukee Area Technical College, Educators Credit Union, and Riverside University High School. Truth Family Fest on Saturday, August 23rd from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Riverside University High School.
Tracy, going back to the process, and as it relates specifically to the partnership that Old National Bank has with Housing Resource, what does the process consist of when coming through this program?
You know, it's a referral process. We work with clients that first-time homeowners that may not have the counseling that they need. They may not have the equity, the down payment that they need. So we refer them to our partners like HRI or Housing Resources, Inc., because we recognize that those organizations, they have the resources, they have the tutorial documentation and all of those things that are necessary for first-time homeowners that don't know the process, may not know the system, may not know what's required for home ownership. So working with Housing Resources, Inc. and other partnerships that we have like through WIDA has been very, very advantageous, not only for us, but also the organizations, but also for the community.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
Nathan has taught me to embrace the moment. Age-wise, I'm in my late 60s. I'm old enough to be his grandfather. Will he be embarrassed to acknowledge me as his dad? I think the most important thing we can do is let them know that they're safe, that they're valued and cared for and loved, and that they're important.
I knew I wanted to be adopted by him because of how he taught me to be the person who I am today. And it's coming from a dad that didn't expect to become a dad, and I feel very proud to be his son.
That was what he needed, and he was what I needed. Every day is full of new opportunities. That's what it's been about, realizing the simple things that it takes to make such a huge difference in these kids' lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
All of your favorite 1017 The Truth content whenever you want. The Truth app has it all. The Truth is on 1017 and 1510 WGKB. The place for the realest conversations.
I appreciate United Garden Homes for stopping through with a check for $2,000.
Yes.
Some people came through anonymously.
Yes.
Dropped off money. The family has received those funds. And whatever you can do, if everybody do a little, nobody has to do a lot.
The movement continues.
What are some of the conditions in the jail that got people upset, like the living conditions on a day-to-day basis?
We'll come out of our cell at 11 o'clock in the morning. We'll get food and we'll get medication. So that shortens the time. Out of those 2 hours, we'll probably get an hour out, and then we'll have to lock back down. And by lock back down, I mean we staying in our cell. We get fed in our cells. We don't come out of our cell at all, and that's pretty much the biggest problem. And they simply say that they're short-staffed, but that's not enough because they knew that they were going to be short-staffed. Like, this has been a problem for over 2 years now.
The marathon continues.
There's never been a better time to make change in the city of Milwaukee, starting with the youth. And we talked about the housing. Willie Hines, y'all boy Willie Hines, and they trying to change the leadership over there. We got our hands full, and it's not the time. But we got attorney B. Ivy Lamar on the lines right now, calling from the courthouse. How you doing, attorney B. Ivy Lamar?
Hey, what's going on, Tori? I'm good, man. Happy to be here.
Joining me on the lines Dr. Umar Johnson. How you doing, brother, Dr. Umar Johnson?
Peace and Pan-Africanism, good brother Black Power to all my brothers and sisters in Milwaukee, Kenosha, Green Bay, Racine, and across the state of Wisconsin.
Yo, peace, King. I'm going to stand with you and walk with you, brother.
God bless you.
Because I think it's an important thing what you're doing, and you need to have the support of the community. Regardless if we live in these areas or not, it all affects us in one way or shape or form.
It's time for that action and all the smoke. This is the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association award-winning Tory Lowe Show on 101.7 The Truth app, and streaming live on YouTube.
Man, best show in the world, bro. You got the best show in the world. Hope you know that, man.
God bless you, brother. I appreciate that.
Big up to you both. Thank you so much. Tori, you spoke to my kids. Liz, you did too. But you spoke to my kids, and when I tell you both that they was talking about what we did earlier that morning all day, that's literally what they was doing. They was talking about it all day. My son was just hollering,
Awesome.
where's Tori? Like,
I wanted to make sure that I let you know that to hear a person and have a person like you in this community, the way that you are selfless, the way that you give, even when your cup is not even full, you are filling other people's cup. And that just inspires me to make sure that I help you the best way that I can by doing my part.
As always, my good brother, stay cool, stay calm, stay focused.
Now, live from the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is the king of talk radio, Tory Lowe.
Justice Wisconsin, the truth, the most requested advocate in the state. 101.7 FM, the movement continues. Yeah. Milwaukee, stand up. It's Tory Lowe, the truth. From 1 to 4, we about that action, so tap in and let's go. We want that justice, we want all the smoke. From Monday through Friday, trying to bring the city hope. Yeah. Tory Lowe from 1 to 4, Monday through Friday, let's go. We bout that action from the block, and we ready, let's go. Tap in, and it ain't no holding back. We ready. 101.7 The Truth. Tory Lowe Show live from American Family Insurance Studio, and I'm here for the action.
And but that action.
And I want all the smoke.
Who wants the smoke today?
Salute to all my brothers and sisters on the front lines. The marathon continues.
The movement continues.
How you doing, DJ Brother Z?
It's Thursday.
And how y'all doing out there in Radio Land? Truth Nation. Thank you for joining me this August 21st, 2025. We got another powerful conversation for you today. So I'm gonna need y'all to open up your ears, okay? Hey, look, I'm gonna tell you this. Yesterday we were out assisting with the flood damage victims, the elderly that are suffering right now, because I'm gonna tell you right now, you gotta be about that action, because the work, it's a lot of work out there. But salute to Elizabeth Brown. We went to see Miss Fisher. She needed some deep cleaning, and we paid Miss Fisher a visit, and we was able to finish up a lot of the deep cleaning ideas with her. Once again, these are things that we have to do, during these times when we have uncertainty when it comes to how we're going to get help, especially when it comes to people that are, out on the north side, when we talk about helping, when we talk about doing it ourselves, a lot of people talk. A lot of people out here talking. There's a lot of conversation going on. But when it's time to do some real work, it get thin. And I'm telling you it get thin because I'm seeing it. Like, a lot of people want you to believe something. It's smoke and mirrors. This is the problem with a lot of the things that go on in Milwaukee. Everybody wants to misdirect your attention to make you believe something that's really not going on. And that's the truth. This is what's happening. Because they mad because I get to see, and I know, and I see what's happening then. Then a lot of people that, I don't even want to say how, you know what, I'm going to say this. Because I was going to say something, but I said I wasn't going to touch on it. Because it's ignorance. Like a lot of people, they so hell-bent on making you believe something that's false that they'll start arguing and everything like that. But I always said, if you're working 80 hours a week, you ain't got time to argue. Like, if you really doing the work, you ain't got time to argue with nobody. Anybody that's arguing and fussing and fighting, you can't be working. I don't know nobody that's working and arguing all the time. I don't know. It seems like you're trying to make somebody believe something that ain't happening. That's kind of what I think, you know what I mean? Because I don't know nobody that's doing work. They too tired. They're too tired to argue. They ain't got time. There's a lot of folks that's trying to argue and make people believe something. And I tell folks, if you ain't got to argue, you just got to do the work. Hey, anytime you help somebody, they're going to tell it. Anytime you help somebody, you remember the story of Jesus when he was helping folks and he told some of them not to go tell it. But they went and told